Yeah, what's going on? Thought I'd do this video today. Talk about it. Talk about black reparations, thinking that um, it solve a lot of issues because it's something that's long overdue. It's more than 40 acres and a mule. Um, it would put a lot of things in perspective. When not only with the police brutality and whitewashing of education in schools, whereas African Americans contribute more profoundly than they ever given credit for in America. If they had to pay reparations and acknowledge the wrongness of over 400 years of injustice, it would put things in a lot of perspective. It would put uh, discoveries and firsts in perspective. It would be more than just seeing something that's glorified in a negative connotation, because there's a whole history that has not been discussed and not been dealt with that has a magnitude to reach. Yes, you have African American museums and places of acknowledgement, but you don't have that certification of saying that yes, what America did to black people was injustice, morally corrupt, and legalized genocide. And I feel that black reparations is long overdue. I always will. I've always felt that if there was a black president who didn't have any fear of assassinations and you could really control your power. In all honesty, I would always feel that black people wouldn't have to pay taxes because they've been taxed on this property over here in this country. Free education, because let's be realistic, never gotten a proper full one, and yet they did learn, but it was against the law to learn how to read and write here. So let's keep it real, keep it 100%. Free health, because props to Obamacare, for props to Obama for at least having a brain to put it in perspective. However, I mean the real deal, man, not have gotten the same balance. Obviously, I would also believe in fair housing. I would say fair housing, no doubt. I would always say that. These banks and some of these places they see someone black, they're gonna tell them no, even with just looking at them, and you know how that goes if you've been real. So definitely, I say 4 trips to Africa. There are 4 seasons in a year. 4 trips back to the motherland, because that's home. That's part of our culture. Should be acknowledged. Should be that should be something that is, that's a fact. We shouldn't have to have any passports either. Let's be realistic. All the countries, Europe, everybody has benefited from American slavery. So what we need a passport for? They know who you are. You don't need no more statement to know that you're where you're from with everything. But you know where you came from. That's the difference. So I would do away for African Americans. I would say you travel wherever you go. You got the money, you got the means. But the trips to Africa would be free. I would say that that should be something to understand the spiritual enlightenment of where the blood comes from and what it really is about. And I feel that better house cares, first of all, if we ever had any, if we were getting reparations and getting treated properly here, there wouldn't be any ghettos and hoods and sections. Because tell you something, they'd have to really get off that money and say that, hey, this is something that, is long overdue. You have a better quality of living, a balanced quality of living. And you wouldn't run people out of their neighborhoods when there's storms or something, and then gentrify and then try to raise the rents in places that were predominantly certain areas. So that's something that has been done. It's a lot of maneuvering. I'd also look at the reformery of the prison industry, because how is it that you're only 13% of the population, but you make up so much more? And everything, unless it's a really serious crime, ain't meant to be, the sentences and the guidelines. So there's things that there, but you gotta have the respect. Believe me, I think black folks getting reparations would change a lot of the things that go down, because there's still this lack of respect. There's still this old Jim Crowism and second class citizenship that goes on down. So I think that it's a very important thing, and it's always something that should be discussed. always should be discussed because, again, a lot of lives were given up, a lot of blood was sacrificed, and they're trying to take everything. Always trying to take everything. Voter fraud with voting, all that. Now they plant weapons and drugs and things in communities and neighborhoods. So if it was black reparations, if there was that was put on the dock, believe me, but how the things would be a little bit different. The outlook would be a lot different because there would be some documentation that would say, "Hey, we've been unjustifiably treated and have not been given the best of quality of life in America." Done.